If you're a business owner looking to get an employee to Canada, but who wants to know how long the process takes, well, let me tell you, it can take as little as 2 weeks to process a work permit application, or in some instances, it could take as long as many months. It really depends on the type of work permit that you're applying for and the circumstances around the application that you've made. As an employer or a business owner with Canadian employees who are foreign nationals, or if you're an employer looking to bring foreign nationals to Canada, the processing time for a work permit application for that employee will vary depending on different factors. One of the things that will impact the time it takes to process an application is whether or not you, the employer, needs to apply for an LMIA, a labor market impact assessment. That in and of itself will take you at a minimum 2 weeks, and typically it may take longer than that. I mean, the LMIA process, generally speaking, involves advertising, placing local advertisements for a minimum 4 weeks before you can actually submit the LMIA application. And then after you submit the application, it can take several weeks or months for that application to be assessed. So the LMIA application process in general can take up to many months, or as little as 2 weeks if you're applying under one of the special programs. If you're eligible to apply under one of the under a special program rather, known as the Global Skills Strategy, the GSS. Under that program, you may be able to get your LMIA processed in 2 weeks. So that's the first stage. And then after the LMIA application is processed, then there's the actual work permit application, which has its own processing times, right? So processing times for work permit application is going to be impacted, generally speaking, by the country from which the employee is applying. So processing times may vary from country to country depending on file volumes at the local processing office. So that will determine to some extent how long the processing takes, and it will also be dependent on whether or not the employee falls into the category that makes them eligible for application under the GSS, the Global Skills Strategy, in which case the work permit processing could take 2 weeks, a minimum 2 weeks. So best case scenario, you are looking at a situation where if you need an LMIA first, you could potentially get that within 2 weeks, and then the employee could potentially get their work permit in another 2 weeks. All right. Now, for work permit applications, the assumption is being made that the employee who is applying is actually coming from a country that requires them to submit their work permit application online through a consular office. There are certain countries whose citizens are exempt from having to apply through a consular office, and citizens from those countries may in fact just take a plane and upon arrival at the airport or upon arrival at a border, a US-Canada border, apply for and be issued a work permit there and then. So in those situations, there's not going to be a processing time at all, right? So the work permit processing time depends on the country that the employee is coming from, right? And there's a list of countries that are called visa exempt. These are countries whose citizens do not require a visa to come to Canada. So if your employee is coming from a visa exempt country, then that employee may be able to just book their flight and be issued their work permit upon arrival at the Canadian airport or upon arrival at the border And in that instance, in that situation, there would not be a processing time. Outside of that, the application typically has to be submitted to a consular office, and the processing time there will vary depending on the processing times for their individual, their particular country at the particular point in time when the application is being submitted. So those are going to be some of the factors that will influence how long a work permit application is likely going to take. But the bottom line is that if the employee is coming from a visa exempt country, and if they already have an LMIA approval, or if they do not require an LMIA, then really that employee could potentially have their work permit processed within a day or upon arrival at a port of entry. Outside of those kinds of situations, the processing times will likely be upwards of a low of 2 weeks for those that fall under the global skill strategy, or up to several or many months depending on the situation in terms of file volume and in terms of the country from which the application is being made. All right, so I trust that this video was helpful, that you found it useful, and that it has added some value for you. Thanks again for watching, and as always, remember to like our videos so others may see more videos like this. Subscribe to our channel so you will be notified the next time we publish a video, and check us out on our website at go.gooselaw.com. Thanks, see you again.